Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered was released during the downfall of 2020, March. It came out of nowhere and had very little marketing, mainly due to Modern Warfare 2019 starting to reach its peak with Warzone, and that Modern Warfare 2 Remastered wasn't that big of a deal. Modern Warfare 2 Remastered released only with the beloved single-player campaign, as if it were to release with multiplayer, Modern Warfare 2019 would have been dead in days. Modern Warfare 2 Remastered came out at a wrong time. Yes, fans of Call of Duty campaigns like me get to replay an iconic campaign with fully remastered visuals and some new additions that make it feel almost like a remake. But it was also a time where Modern Warfare 2019's Warzone was becoming the biggest battle royale on the market, and where the majority of Call of Duty fans only played multiplayer, Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered just flew under many radars. Due to the single player campaign being the only thing playable, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered didn't get the best reviews, most rating it as okay, which is understandable. Call of Duty campaigns at the time really didn't have much to them. They were treated more as a preparation for multiplayer. They were a short series of events with memorable characters and with more deep meanings outside of the game itself. In a few weeks' time, Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered will be having its 1-year anniversary, so I thought, why not talk about it? Talk about what I loved and didn't love about the game. Starting off with the presentation, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered looks like a good remaster. The menus are fully overhauled and look great. The stellar soundtrack returns, just the main menu theme gets me excited to play this campaign. Graphical overhauls are there, and not just graphical overhauls, but some things have been changed or rearranged. Characters are seen in different places than in the original game. Some cutscenes have been changed, whether it's objects being replaced or all new animations. Character models have been redesigned and look amazing. The character animations look good without shying away from the main art style, which was a job well done. The updated lighting adds more vibrancy. The original Modern Warfare 2's lighting looks a little too outdated by today's standards. It made the overall visuals, color and art style look washed out. But the remastered lighting in this game adds more color, more flavor. The lighting is mostly warm, but it adds a much more authentic atmosphere. It looks good. A good example of this is when you're firing through Brazil. The warm tint of the lighting adds more color and flavor, like I said before. It genuinely looks too good to be a remaster at times. Just the overall presentation makes the game feel like a remake. Gameplay is exactly the same, as you should expect from a remaster. Guns still feel fun and arcadey to fire. It's pure classic Call of Duty gameplay in remastered visuals. Although where the gameplay suffers a little is the design. Modern Warfare 2 Remastered's game and level design really show its age compared to newer titles. While newer titles were experimenting with having open-ended levels and side content, transitioning to Modern Warfare 2 was quite a hit. This isn't too big of a problem. I mean, this is a remaster slash reimagining, not a remake. But the pacing does get exhausting. Gunfights go on for a bit too long, there's not many downtime moments, and the gameplay variety isn't as present as Call of Duty 4 or Modern Warfare Remastered. While Call of Duty 4's campaign had you sneaking through tall grass, avoiding tanks and soldiers near a radiated area, piloting an AC-130 and stealthing your way through the night while also having plenty gunfights, Modern Warfare 2 has almost no stealth missions, a few turret sections and constant gunfights with very little downtime. But when there is stealth, it doesn't take too long before the linear design forces you into combat. This type of design feels a little dated by today's standards. This is another example of this game coming out at a wrong time, because after a mind-blowing campaign for Modern Warfare 2019, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered feels like an unintentional step back in experience, and that's not the game's fault. But that's not to say Modern Warfare 2 Remastered doesn't play well. In fact, that's the polar opposite. Level design aside, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered is pure action-packed fun, running and gunning with some cover-based shootouts. It's pure pick-up and play material, which is what old-school Call of Duty was about. But after long periods of playtime, the gameplay does eventually get stale and boils down to a point-and-click shooter. But luckily cinematic action set pieces freshen up the experience and keep you on your toes. It would have been nice to see as much variety as the previous game's campaign though. I'd just quickly like to mention a new but subtle addition to gameplay. It isn't exactly a big deal, especially for a single player campaign, but the ability to inspect your weapon of choice. This is where the Remastered in Modern Warfare 2 Remastered show its fresh and renewed additions, as slick animations for handguns, SMGs, LMGs, and especially akimbo weapons look very smooth and fancy. It doesn't impact gameplay at all, but it's a neat little showcase, especially if you're looking for attention to detail.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Boundaries shift, new players step in, but power always finds a place to rest its head. We fought and bled alongside the Russians. We should have known they'd hate us for it. History is written by the victor, and here I am thinking we'd won. But you bring down one enemy and they find someone even worse to replace him. Locations change, the rationale, the objective. Yesterday's enemies are today's recruits. Train them to fight alongside you, and pray they don't eventually decide to hate you for it too. Same shit, different day. You know what I'm looking for, Sergeant Foley. Keep your eyes open.
Got a new batch hitting the pit today, sir. I'll send you the best I find.
Modern Warfare 2's story is simple, but is a lot more character driven, which is the type of narrative I enjoy most. Soap, Captain Price, Roach, General Shepard, Vladimir Makarov, and Ghost. Oh, and let's not forget Ramirez.
Get the fuck off the roof!
The point of the story is to again save the world, but from terrorists on a revenge quest, avenging Imran Sakayev and still trying to start a nuclear war. I'm not going to try to expand on the plot too much because the original is no different to the remaster, and the original game is about nearly 11 years old now, but I want to shift my focus onto the characters. The only reason why I love Modern Warfare 2's story more than Call of Duty 4's is because of the characters. They are a prominent part of the story this time around. Let's first talk about Soap, the big man. Although there's not a lot of character background about Soap, his character in game and his overall presence is comforting. He kind of reminds me of Sev from Killzone 2 in some ways. Captain Price, the main man, the man we'll virtually die for, returns later in the campaign. I actually really like the way he's introduced here. Throughout the beginning of the game, he is nowhere to be seen. Instead, Soap is your captain, until you're tasked to save an old friend being held prisoner and rescue him from a Russian gulag. That's when we find out the prisoner is our old chum, Captain John Price. From then on, Captain Price joins the legendary Task Force 141. You can really see that Price was living in hell inside that gulag, which makes saving him that much more satisfying. And to put the cherry on top, Soap hands over Price's pistol from the end of the previous campaign. The chemistry between Soap and Price is what makes a Modern Warfare story complete. Playing the entire Modern Warfare trilogy really shows you how sad Price's story is, but we're gonna have to wait for Modern Warfare 3 Remastered to see me talk about it. Whew, this is gonna be a controversial opinion of mine. Ghost is considered one of the most memorable characters from Modern Warfare 2. I see it, but I also don't see it. I just didn't feel like he was present enough to be my favorite. Unless there's something I missed, I just wasn't impacted by Ghost's death at all. Somebody please fill me in on Ghost in the comment section, because I really don't understand what made Ghost that big of a deal. Is it his character design, or just fill me in. Next, I want to talk about Makarov. Oh, Vladimir Makarov. He has to be the best villain in Call of Duty history, or at least my personal favorite. Although he isn't heard from much in the campaign, Modern Warfare 3 is where he shows his prime skills. The man is just the perfect villain, and one mission literally shows you exactly how absolutely evil this guy is. And yes, I'm talking about No Russian. This man literally guns down an entire airport full of civilians in order to get attention from the West and in memory of Imran Zakayev.
Remember, no Russian.
And one thing I have to say is that he probably has the most unique voice that I've heard from a villain. This man sounds awesome and a little intimidating.
That was no message. This is a message.
The Americans thought he could deceive us. When they find that body, all of Russia will cry for war.
General Shepard, who is essentially the main antagonist in the story, is nearly as dangerous as Makarov. He literally murders some of his best soldiers, being Ghost and Roach, just to make him look like the hero and not guilty, which we soon intercept. General Shepard's betrayal was painful, after fighting off many enemies and extracting the objective, just for General Shepard to rub it in your face. As for Ramirez...
Ramirez, get to the roof and check out the supply drop.
Ramirez, get the fuck off of the roof! Ramirez, get over there and kill an SOB!
Ramirez, get the control rig for the UAV.
Ramirez, neutralize that enemy armor! Ramirez, regroup in the restaurant. Ramirez, take your team and secure the Burger Town. We're gonna move Raptor over there. This location has been compromised.
Yeah, Ramirez is less like a character and more like a meme at this point. If you're like me, after completing your first story-based playthrough of the campaign, you go straight to the trophies, or at least take some time off, then proceed. Yep, the single player grind. Collect all intel, complete the campaign on veteran, and doing certain things on certain missions. But trophies / achievements aside, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered doesn't have that much side content. I don't mind not having multiplayer, but I was hoping for at least some single player Spec Ops content. Back when I originally played Modern Warfare 2, which was about 4 or so years ago, I haven't played much Spec Ops and I hadn't even touched the campaign. It was all multiplayer, which really made me regret not playing much Spec Ops back then, since it seemed pretty fun. Both co-op and single player, Spec Ops seemed like some worthy PvE content. Unfortunately, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered doesn't have it here. Although what is here though is the museum. The museum feels like a historical sandbox. You can explore it as it shows small recaps of what happened in the campaign, try out all the weaponry, and even battle it out with everybody, which is just pure chaos. If you just want to mess around and try out all guns on everybody, the museum is there for you. To be super honest, I actually never really appreciated the museum as much before I started writing for this video. But analyzing for it in the script really made me realize that it's a pretty cool side mode. Note, you can only unlock the museum after finishing the campaign, which makes sense because I mean the entire museum is spoilers left, right and center. Let's talk about the intel cheats. I'm telling you, these are absolutely hilarious. Play a super serious or emotional mission with pineapple heads enabled. I swear you will never see these missions the same ever again. These cheats are amazing. I've never had so much fun throwing pomegranates at pineapple heads with food splattering all over the environment. They may not seem as hilarious to those who don't have a sense of humor, but I was literally dying. I'm telling you, this is art at its finest. After collecting all the intel, going crazy with these will absolutely turn Modern Warfare into Gary's mod, and it is so worth it. There are also different categories of intel cheats. Now these do add a considerable amount of replayability for a challenge and laughs, but unfortunately they aren't quite enough. I enjoyed Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, very much actually. Although some single player Spec Ops would have been nice, intel cheats and the Modern Warfare 2 Museum more or less made up for it. Modern Warfare 2 Remastered looks slick and plays smoothly. It's the same old campaign, but remastered and in some cases reimagined, with new animations, much improved lighting and art direction, and some classic Call of Duty action. The story, although pretty similar to Call of Duty 4's, has a great cast of characters and an iconic team. No longer do you play as the SAS, you are Task Force 141, aka Captain Price and the boys.
I thought I told you this was a one-way trip.
Looks like it still is. They'll be looking for us, you know.
Nikolai, we've got to get Soap out of here.
Da. I know a place.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? Hope you folks enjoyed this video essay. If you want to see more videos like these, a subscription is much appreciated, but not required. If you enjoyed the video, a like would be very much appreciated. What do you guys think of Modern Warfare 2 Remastered? Do you desperately wish it had multiplayer? Do you think it's an okay remaster? Do you wish there was a remake of Modern Warfare 2? Leave your opinions in the comment section below. Just a little postscript talk. Videos are going to be releasing a bit sporadically on the channel due to school exams / tests really starting up. So I have to focus on my studies and get decent grades for quite some time. So my next video might only be coming out 2 weeks from now. We'll see if I have time to make videos during this test series. Just so you know, before you might think I'm just too lazy to make any more videos, I'm focusing on my studies. My next video might not be a game analysis, but instead a gaming topic analysis. So watch out for that. But yeah, I love you guys. I make these videos for you, and I'm always happy to see that you enjoy them. So stay safe, stay entertained, take care, and take it easy. Cheers.